For this week's report, the town to hold a special voting session to decide the fate of the Sewer Siphons Project. The health of Great Bay was discussed at a recent presentation. And a recap of the Select Board's most recent meetings on July 24th, 2023. For Exeter TV, I'm Gabe Perez, and this is the Exeter Biweekly Report. Let's get started. Due to unexpected issues with the original Sewer Siphons project, additional funding was needed, and the town petitioned to hold a special town meeting to move the project forward. The second half of that town meeting, the voting session, will be held in 2 weeks. Here's more on the project and what's next for the special warrant article.
The town of Exeter will hold a special town meeting voting session on Tuesday, August 15th for the Sewer Siphons project. The sole ballot question on the warrant article seeks an additional $3.5 million to finish the project. The need for the 2 new sewer siphons arose from a 2020 warrant article, which was originally intended to inspect the existing pipes and add a third. When the work began, crews identified that due to the poor condition of the pipes, completely new ones would be needed. The sewer siphons serve approximately 35% of the town's sewage. If the current siphons fail, sewage could be released into the river or back up into homes and businesses. The town has a contingency plan in place to prevent these events from happening, but the town would face costly penalties for failing to address issues with the sewers. To continue toward the new plan, funds were obtained from the federal and state governments, along with local ARPA funds. Work began in 2022 to install the new siphons, but faced many challenges, including unanticipated ledge, breaks of drilling shafts, and other issues. If approved at the special town election, the funds would go towards completing the project. Monies for the project would come from the sewer rates and therefore have no tax impact. We spoke to town manager Rustine for more information on how the proposed article will impact sewer rates going forward.
We expect that the project will have a nominal impact on the sewer rates. We just had a study completed by Underwood Engineers looking at our rates over multiple years, and for FY24 they're recommending a 4% increase in the sewer rate. So what that translates to essentially for an average user for the overall sewer operations is $7.80 per quarter. When we had the new wastewater facility debt service come online for the first time, the sewer rates actually went up quite a bit. They went up order of magnitude of 100% increase. So this increase is going to be obviously a lot less than that. And as I said, it's primarily due to the fact that we have debt service coming off the books for our sewer fund, and this is going to basically come in and replace some of that debt that we're retiring. So that means the impact overall is less to the sewer fund.
If the article isn't approved, the town will still need to address the failing sewer siphons and work towards a solution. It is likely that once construction crews leave the site, costs would increase to remobilize in the future, leading to an even larger price tag.
The project is definitely an obligation that we have. We are under, right now, the state New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services is watching very closely to make sure that the siphon project gets completed as planned. One of the issues, of course, is that we're experiencing infiltration of water into our old siphon pipes, and that's creating issues of sewage interacting with water from the river and so forth. So there's a definite need to do this, and if this does not pass, voters can expect that we would probably come back to them again in March for another conversation about this, but we're hopeful that this will pass. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the project is going to get a 10% debt forgiveness grant from the state of New Hampshire DES, so that actually lowers the cost. And the interest rate on the loan itself is only 2%. So it's a good time, advantageous time for the town to take advantage of those rates and that debt forgiveness to be able to offset the cost of the project.
Detailed information about the special town meeting and updates about the project can be found on the town website, including several videos covering the history of the project. Residents with questions about the project and the upcoming special election are encouraged to reach out to town staff for more information. Just like any other election, residents may request absentee ballots if they are unable to make it to the polls on the day of the voting session. Information about absentee voting can be found on the elections page.
The Piscatiqua Region Estuaries Partnership held a presentation discussing the state of our watersheds and how it relates to recent and future activities of the town of Exeter. Here is a preview of that presentation. On July 20th, the Piscatiqua Region Estuaries Partnership, or PREP for short, delivered a presentation discussing the state of our region's estuaries. The presentation began with a quick introduction by Paul Velasic, the town's interim DPW director, giving lead to the main presenter of the event, PREP's director, Cal Matzo, who surveyed the attendees of the presentation with questions they were looking to find answers to.
What about the impact of the recent stormwater?
Most of our understanding is that there's more negative than positive associated with these. When you get a big stormwater event, more and more stuff just gets washed into our rivers and our estuaries. Stormwater is maybe the biggest issue, definitely one of the top three, because it brings in a lot of things that we don't like. It brings in nutrients, it brings in sediments, it brings in toxics.
Cal spoke of the current health of the region's waterways and what has changed, as well as achievements we've made in the recent years.
I would say that in the last few years, things are looking a little bit better than they were in the years previous to that. So this is great. The more fish we have, that's a really important part of our ecosystem, as I discussed in response to Martha's question earlier. So it's really this is really fantastic. That's not the fault of the municipalities. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's climate change, which I guess you could say is our fault. But because of that problem, it makes it more important that we control the things we can control, because this is an additional stressor that's very difficult to control.
The importance of keeping our world safe and clean cannot be understated. PREP works to give us what we need to know to make our world a better place. You can learn more about PREP and the impact of our estuaries on their website at prepestuaries.org. Finally, we have a quick recap of the most recent Select Board meeting from our Meeting Minutes series.
Welcome to your meeting minute for the Exeter Select Board's July 24th meeting. The meeting began with the swearing in of officers Caleb Daniels and Eric Warden by Town Clerk Andy Kohler.
And enforce the law of the state of New Hampshire. So help me God. Congratulations.
The Tree Committee presented their progress report, highlighting their achievements since 2014, including Exeter's Tree City USA certification and adopting the tree ordinance. They discussed future goals such as increasing the tree canopy and updating the street tree inventory.
I know technically you're a subcommittee to the Conservation Commission, but boy, they do an awful lot of work for a subcommittee. I think of them as a committee. I mean, they've accomplished quite a bit in just a short period of time.
A volunteer committee provided an update on the Black Heritage Pocket Park project, planning to install a stone and bench to honor the historic Black community. They requested the town's support in providing a metal bench.
This forum area would be a gathering place for ceremonies and education on the historic Black community and more.
Thank you for sticking with us. You've hit some bumps and you've persevered, and thank you for coming up with yet another plan to try to get this moving forward.
Town Manager Russ Dean presented the classification and wage update for non-union town employees. The plan includes retention bonuses and wage increases to attract and retain talent.
You know, we look at cost and what's going to be an increase in the budget moving forward, and we also look at value. And we have a lot of talent here in Exeter. And we've seen some departments, particularly like Public Works, that have constantly had 8 to 10 openings. Through the pandemic and inflation, it's become increasingly difficult, not just for Exeter, not just for communities in New Hampshire, but communities everywhere, to retain talent because of what's being offered out in the private sector. And certainly here in Exeter, we take pride in our town, we take pride in our projects, and we take pride in our employees.
In the town manager's report, he provided updates on various projects and meetings, including the Sewer Siphons Project and the Water Sewer Rate Study. The Select Board Committee reports covered updates from the Conservation Commission, HDC, and Tree Committee. Finally, the Select Board went over important dates for Exeter voters coming up. First, the election to vote on the special Sewer Siphon warrant article is on August 15th at the Talbot Gymnasium within Tuck Learning Center at 30 Linden Street. And secondly, the procedural defect meeting will be held at the Exeter Town Hall on September 5th. The next select board meeting is on August 7th. See you there.
That does it for this week's episode. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to help us spread the word. Our beloved Bob Glowacki has been found.
So yeah, so thanks for holding down the fort.
Yeah, no
And,
problem.
It's been good, you know, back on vacation,
Yep.
things like that. So yeah, we'll can we wrap this up in unison? What do you think?
I guess we can. Yeah.
For Exeter TV, you're
I'm Gabe Perez, and
I'm
you're
Bob Glowacki.
and this is the Exeter Biweekly Report. Have a good weekend,
Exeter.
Exeter.